The information shared on Light Body Radio is for educational and informational purposes only. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician, licensed healthcare provider, or qualified wellness practitioner with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or health goal. Dr. Lara May, her guests, and affiliates do not claim to cure, prevent, or treat any condition and are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information shared in this podcast. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own health decisions and that any actions you take based on the content are at your own discretion and risk. Thank you for tuning in to Light Body Radio.
Welcome to Light Body Radio, where science meets soul and healing gets multidimensional. I am your host, Dr. Lara May, functional medicine pharmacist, master intuitive Reiki channel, and certified life and health coach. Here we decode root causes, transmute stuck energy, and empower your full spectrum healing journey, body, mind, and light body. This isn't just wellness, it's awakening, grounded in science, guided by spirit, and designed for your evolution. Let's rise and radiate. Welcome to the next level of you. Hello and welcome back to Wellness Illuminated. This is a special episode of Light Body Radio with Dr. Lara. I am your host, Dr. Lara May. And if you're listening, this is the very last week, the final days of 2025. And so I wanted to, of course, finish up this year with some reflections on completion. So we are standing in a threshold at this moment, not a beginning or not an ending, but the space in between. The last week of the year carries a very unique frequency. The world is quieter. Even if your life hasn't really slowed down, your nervous system senses an ending before your mind can really even articulate it. And there's often relief here. Sometimes there could also be grief, a release of exhaustion, and of course, reflection. And all of this is coexisting in the same breath. And yet most content right now, if we're, out there in the world, is mostly probably about rushing forward, telling you to make plans, optimize, manifest, resolve, make resolutions. But the body does not move forward cleanly without true completion. So today's episode is not about preparing for what's next. That episode is coming, but that's not today. It's about honoring what has been this year. And so this is going to be an episode of a ritual of sacred completion designed to clear burnout residue from your nervous system, your physiology, and your energetic field, so you don't unknowingly and unconsciously carry this into the next year. So let's get started. So most people think burnout comes from doing too much. But in my work as a functional medicine pharmacist, and really, I would start to call myself a nervous system informed practitioner, I often see something deeper. A lot of burnout often comes from what never fully finished. And we don't really think about it that way. But if we think about how we're feeling when we're moving through burnout, usually it's frantic, scattered, pulled in a million different directions. How much of what's on our list actually gets done versus how much that we think we need to get done just gets pushed to the side and saved for later. And so, this could be conversations that never have really been resolved or addressed. Seasons, really whole periods where you have overridden your intuition, that little voice inside you that says you can say no to this or stop or slow down or you don't have to do this today, but you ignore it and you just keep pushing forward. maybe different roles that you've outgrown but you haven't released yet. And of course, grief that we've postponed because survival comes first. And often, just honestly, grief doesn't feel good. It's something that we need to move through and we need to be aware of and acknowledge. But oftentimes we just don't because it's really uncomfortable and painful. Your brain and body doesn't distinguish between something that's unresolved and something that's still happening. So, neurologically speaking, unfinished experiences keep your neural circuits firing and keep you in that fight or flight. And it perpetuates all of those emotions, again, of the scattered, the pulled in a million different directions, just, the energetically fried. And they actually energetically keep us partially tethered and attached to the past. So when the nervous system doesn't receive a clear signal of completion, cortisol patterns stay distorted. The amygdala remains on alert. The vagus nerve doesn't fully shift into restoration and into healing and into that rest and digest phase that we need every single day to stay happy and healthy and or to perpetuate the healing cycle that needs to happen for us to heal from whatever it is that you're trying to resolve or heal from. But this is why so many people rest over the holidays. And it's a good thing, but even when we rest, somehow we oftentimes still feel tired and we rest without closure, and that doesn't help us restore and resolve. So completion is actually not as mental as we think it is, meaning like relative to what's going on in our thoughts, but it's actually has a very physiological, physical, somatic, and energetic component. So it's one of these beautiful things that encompasses it all. And so in this final week of the year, this is the most natural window we have to do ourselves that favor. Bring true completion in, allow our bodies, our minds, our spirit, our energy to truly have that moment of rest and restore and just that big sigh of relief. So let's start to identify some burnout residue and let's identify what you're actually carrying with you. So before we clear anything, we always want to name it with love, compassion, non-judgment. And so I always preface any of this work that we do. This is not an opportunity for you to beat up on yourself or to judge yourself. All change starts with awareness. So we're going to invite in that awareness. So the neural burnout residue shows up as brain fog, indecision, emotional flatness, or like flat out exhaustion of like you literally don't have the energy to emotionally engage, or that sense that your spark has dimmed, not because you failed, but because your prefrontal cortex was overworked. So I wanted to provide you today with some immediate tools that you could implement right away. And so for this aspect of it, for the next 3 days, to reduce decision making after 6 p.m. So after 6 p.m., I want you to stop planning, stop trying to figure things out. And this alone will help really bring in some neural recovery, some mental rest for you that is very much needed. Okay, so no more planning after 6 p.m. just for the next 3 days. The next aspect we have is the hormonal and cortisol residue. So, not necessarily high cortisol and not low cortisol, but it's just a confused state. You have random energy spikes, that wired and tired feeling at night, or that waking up exhausted, heavy in the morning. So, it's very much a confused cortisol state, if you will. And so the tool for this is morning light within the first 30 minutes of waking up. So even on cloudy days, make sure you're getting that morning light directly into your eyeballs without sunglasses. And then add on to this, if you can, a 10 to 15-minute walk mid-afternoon to stabilize glucose and cortisol in that mid-afternoon phase. And this is really going to help, number one, clear out that cortisol confusion. So the morning light really does tell your adrenals and your brain what time of day it is, what's happening, and what it's supposed to be doing for you. And then that walk in the middle of the afternoon, after lunchtime preferably, will really help stabilize your blood glucose after you've eaten. And then also, again, tell your adrenals and tell those stress mechanisms in your body exactly what they're supposed to be doing for you. So these are little things, but they're so powerful and so important. So the third thing is emotional residue. And this lives in the body as heaviness in the chest, tightness in the throat, maybe even a tightness in your chest as well, or a sense of holding your breath around certain memories. And now that I've said it, you're going to be more aware of it, I think, because it's one of those little things that you don't realize that you're doing until someone brings attention to it. So again, it's all of the emotions that we haven't processed and we just push them down and we ignore them, but they're still there. And so we need to give them the attention that they deserve so they can come up, come out, come through us and move on and allow us to move on as well. So for this one, I want you to name one emotion that you didn't have space to feel this year. And just by naming it, it begins that cycle of completion. And for this one, you might want to, provide a safe and sacred space for yourself because especially if it's a very uncomfortable emotion, which it most likely is if you didn't allow yourself to feel it, then there's going to be probably some memories, maybe some other thoughts that you have been trying to avoid also come up. And all of this is okay. It's all natural. It's all normal, but provide yourself that safe space, a quiet space, so that you can then, when it does come up, then allow it to just move through your body. Maybe notice where you're feeling it. Maybe notice if it has a texture or a temperature, or maybe it even has like a physical feeling to it, a physical sensation. So, but just the simple aspect of naming it begins the completion. Remember that. So you don't have to go through the whole process of actually processing the emotion, but I want you to maybe do a little pre-planning for this one for just in case, so that if more comes up and out than you were expecting, that you have, a little bit of a prepared, safe and sacred space for yourself. So the last one is energetic residue. And this is when your field feels thinner. You're more affected by others. You're less buffered, meaning like you have less of a filter. I know I've definitely moved through this over the last couple of weeks. And your energetic field is just much more permeable and affected by what's going on in and around your environment, whether it's other people, whether it's social media, whether it's the news, whether it's, maybe you're just out shopping, even if it's for groceries, not even like for gifts since we just moved through the holidays, and you're just literally overwhelmed with the amount of people that are in your area, in your field. So for this, we want to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your lower belly before sleep. So do this tonight as you go to bed. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower abdomen. And this simple gesture helps draw the energy back into the core. And just tell yourself, you don't need to fix anything. You don't need to fix anything. And even just this little permission that you give yourself can take such a relief off give yourself so much relief. Maybe give yourself some grace and some love and forgiveness. Maybe you recognize that you said something that you shouldn't have when your filter was non-existent and you feel bad about it. And so just forgive yourself for that. It's okay. And then maybe if you feel so called, you can apologize to whoever if you can. If not, then, just focus on forgiving yourself, because forgiving ourselves really does help us show up differently in the world with more compassion, with more grace, and with more unconditional love. Okay, that feels good just even talking about it. All right, so now we're going to move into the sacred completion ritual. And so wherever you are, just allow yourself to soften. This ritual meets you exactly where you are and as you are. And so step one, of course, is just the breath of completion, the breath of ending. Inhale gently through your nose and exhale through your mouth like you're fogging a mirror. And keep doing that, practicing repeating that for 3 rounds. And this breath activates the vagus nerve and tells the body the effort cycle is over. It's okay to relax. It's okay to release. It's okay to let go. And so the next step is the year as a sensation. So let the year pass through you, not as events, but as sensations. So ask yourself, where did you brace the most? Where did you overextend? Where did you grow quieter to survive? And again, this is not judgment. This is just witnessing. To allow your body to feel the sensations that you didn't allow it to feel throughout the year. Allow whatever needs to come up and come through to do that. Know that you are loved, you are held, you are safe. And that is okay. Give yourself permission to feel these things, to allow your body to process them. Where did you brace the most? Where did you overextend? And where did you grow quieter to survive? Where did you contract, sort of retreat to survive? And then the next step is reclaiming our energy. So place one hand on your abdomen, your solar plexus, and imagine a hook where your energy snagged this year, where it's sort of stuck, snagged up. Maybe this is in overgiving, overworking, or holding on to emotional weight. And now I want you to envision and see it gently unfasten, unhook, release. No force, no effort. Just watch it easily and effortlessly let go and release. And then give yourself a few moments to see and observe and feel this. Next is the somatic piece, the somatic forgiveness. So gently roll your shoulders slowly forward a couple times and then back a couple times. And know that our fascia holds memory. So our fascia is this connective tissue that lines our muscles and our joints. And it actually holds an energetic imprint of memories and emotions. And so movement actually helps signal the release of these things. And so as you continue to slowly, maybe you even want to close your eyes here. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. But you can roll your shoulders while you're driving. So with each roll, and it doesn't matter if it's forward or back, whichever feels best for you, Forgive yourself for not knowing sooner. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just forgive yourself. Forgive your body for needing rest. Forgive the version of you who did their best. We can only do the best that we can with the tools that we're given and that we have at our disposal. So forgive yourself for that version of you who did the best they could at the time. And again, this is really allowing the practice of forgiveness to move into our physiology, to build that bridge between the emotional, energetic, and physical aspects of ourselves. And now this next piece is a little visualization. I like to call it energetic composting. So imagine a bowl beside you and place into it everything that's unfinished for 2025. And it doesn't matter. You can make it as big or as small as you want. Just place all the stuff in it. Again, no judgment. Just throw it all in there. Every disappointment, every almost something, or, oh, I'll get to that later. It's okay if it's unfinished. Place it in the bowl. And know that this is your compost pile, that it will be recycled and that it can still work to nourish, because that's what compost does, right? It breaks down to provide wonderful food for the garden. So nothing here is wasted. It's all reused. And it becomes nourishment and wisdom for later. So even though we have these things that might carry with them feelings of self-judgment, of disappointment, of incompletion, this is our opportunity to see its value and still see it with some sort of compassion and love. So the final step here is to seal 2025. So place your hands on your heart or your room, or maybe one on each, whichever feels most natural and best to you. And just say to yourself, I complete this year with clarity, compassion, and sovereignty. My energy returns to me now fully and completely. And maybe repeat it. I complete this year with clarity, compassion, and sovereignty. My energy returns to me now fully and completely. And breathe and just feel into these words. And this is the moment your nervous system registers closure. So I now want to take you through a couple more practices for you that I invite you to participate in or do for yourself. So the first one, and these are just little permissions for yourself. So the first one is always, as we always start with, our circadian rhythm. So again, it's the morning light, early dinners, and lower evening stimulation. And this signals safety and ending to the HPA axis every day, which is really going to help train your nervous system, to train it to wind down, to go into rest and digest, and to know that, okay, it is safe to turn off, to stop, to slow down, to go to sleep. So morning light within the first 30 minutes of awakening, an early dinner if you can. No planning anything after 6 p.m. And then lower evening stimulation. So that even means, be aware of what you're watching before at that time of day at night before bed. So are you watching something that's soothing and calming? Or are we into, I don't know, like movies with explosions and bombs and guns, or like high intensity stress, whatever, mysteries or action or whatever it is. So be aware, because that is also going to, ramp up your adrenals. So the second one is nutrient repletion. December naturally is depleting because of the lack of light. And so we become depleted in magnesium, B vitamins, and omega-3s naturally in December. So know that, and maybe take that extra step to supplement with a little more magnesium in the evening. And imagine it refilling your cells like warm light, or take a beautiful warm Epsom salt bath in the evening before bed. All of that Epsom salt, which is magnesium salt, will be beautifully absorbed into your skin. You won't have the GI effects from taking an oral magnesium, and it will naturally help to replete you and also relax and calm. And really, it's a beautiful pre-paving step towards a great sleep. And then I would also suggest maybe, a methylated B vitamin complex. In general, B vitamins are water soluble, so your body, you can't overdo it with B vitamins, because whatever your body doesn't need or utilize will be excreted through your urine. And then, of course, omega-3s. They are great for the brain. They are a great, healthy antioxidant, which is always good this time of year. Okay, and so the last thing is, nothing needs to be decided. So for the remainder of the year, which is kind of short, especially since I'm posting this on the very last day of the year, but the remainder of the year, and maybe this is something you can take into your new year, is that you are not allowed to make any big decisions after 6 p.m. So again, like, this protects your cycle of completion and your cycle of integration. So just be and go with the flow, and don't worry about making any life-altering decisions within these last few moments of 2025. And so integration really means not rushing into the new. So, a lot of times at retreats, or like different spiritual things, at least lately, there's been a lot of discussion about the lack of integration. Like, you go into this big, spiritual or emotional, thing. You're there for however long, anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. But then you come out and there's like no integration, meaning like you're just like thrown back out into the world. And so I would like to invite you to actually give yourself time for some integration between 2025 and 26 this year. So notice the space that's opened within this last week of the year. And if it hasn't opened for you, that's okay. Just notice it within listening to this episode. Notice the quiet, notice the relief. Notice what completion actually feels like. And no, you don't need to rush into becoming anything new. Let the year finish speaking to you in its own time and your own time. Let your body settle. Let it absorb. Let it release. Let it re-equilibrate. Let it release the stress that it needs to release. So as we close this out today, I want you to remember that you are not behind. You are not late. You are just finishing. You're completing. So if your body, your hormones, or your soul are asking you for deeper recalibration this year and the year ahead, I would love to be able to support you within this journey. So definitely reach out to me. Come to my website, drlaramay.com. Investigate my programs, my services, my sessions, and let's see where we can take this work for you into your nervous system, into your metabolism, your energy field, slowly, safely, and sustainably. But for now, I want you to, again, just rest in this space of completion. And so until next time, Happy New Year. May your endings be honored, your energy be restored, and your next chapter arrive beautifully and naturally. Thank you for joining me on Light Body Radio, where functional medicine meets intuitive healing and transformation happens on every level. If this episode resonated with you, please like, share, and if you're ready to go deeper, visit drlaramay.com to book a functional medicine consultation or an intuitive healing session. Whether you need to rebalance your body, clear your energetic blocks, or reconnect with your soul's purpose, I've got you. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Dr. Lara May for daily inspiration, energy updates, and healing tools. Remember, your healing is multidimensional, and so are you. Until next time, honor your body, trust your intuition, and activate your light.